From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm David Byrd reporting. U.S. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter says China's land reclamation in the South China Sea is out of step with international rules. Carter told defense officials attending the Shangri-La Dialogue Security Forum in Singapore Saturday that the United States is deeply concerned about the scale of China's island building and the prospect of further militarization of the artificial islands.
There should be an immediate and lasting halt to land reclamation by all claimants. We also oppose any further militarization of disputed features. We all know there's no military solution to the South China Sea disputes.
China insists it has sovereignty over nearly all of the resource-rich South China Sea, a major global shipping route. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei also claim parts of that body of water. The Nigerian Islamist group Boko Haram has launched attacks in the northeastern city of Maiduguri on Saturday, killing at least 26 people just one day after the inauguration of the country's new president. A suicide bomb blast at a mosque in Maiduguri killed at least 18 people just hours after rocket-propelled grenades exploded into homes in the city. More than a dozen people were wounded. The assault on Maiduguri came hours after Boko Haram terrorists bombed a wedding venue in a farming village 270 kilometers from Maiduguri. Witnesses said a second blast hit the site while people were trying to rescue victims of the first explosion. 7 people were killed, dozens were wounded in the twin blasts. For more on these stories, visit our website, voanews.com. This is VOA News. Iran has repeated its assertion that international inspectors will not be given access to the country's military sites as part of a deal with the United States and 5 other world powers. The deputy head of Iran's negotiating team, Abbas Araghchi, said granting permission for UN inspectors, to question Iranian scientists and inspect military sites is not part of the negotiations. However, inspection of Iran's military sites is a key Western demand. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif held 6 hours of talks at a hotel in Geneva Saturday. Those talks come 1 month before a June 30th deadline for a final agreement on a historic nuclear deal. A travel ban on 5 senior Afghan Taliban officials freed by the United States in a prisoner exchange last year expires on Sunday. The 5 men were traded for U.S. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl in May of 2014 under an agreement mediated by Qatar between the United States and Afghanistan's Islamist insurgency. They have been in Qatar under government monitoring since their release. U.S. President Barack Obama is stepping up pressure on the U.S. Senate, which appears set for a political showdown when it meets just hours before some key surveillance powers are set to expire. Mr. Obama used his weekly media address to again urge reluctant senators to pass the USA Freedom Act, which would keep key national security agencies' security provisions in place.
These tools are not controversial. Since 9/11, they've been renewed numerous times. FBI Director James Comey says they are essential and that losing them would severely impact terrorism investigations.
The House of Representatives passed the USA Freedom Act before joining the Senate on a week-long recess. The compromise legislation would end bulk collection of Americans' phone records, but let the NSA search those records held by phone companies on a case-by-case basis. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is insisting on an extension of current Patriot Act surveillance programs, including the collection of Americans' phone records. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley announced his bid Saturday for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination next year. The liberal Democrat announced his candidacy in Baltimore, where he was once mayor.
For the story of our country's best days is not found in a history book, because this generation of Americans is about to write it.
O'Malley is the third Democratic candidate to join the race. He joins former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders. I'm David Byrd.
That's the latest world news from VOA.